Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is me, Mr. Cameraman, and today I'm talking about Spider-Man in Quarantine. Yippee! So I'm doing a scene-by-scene breakdown of this film. I've done a lot of these before, and I'm doing another one. Yeah, let's jump into it. Before we get into it, actually, I lied, we're not jumping into it. Before we do get into it, if you haven't already seen the official trailer from my own fan film, Captain America: The Taskmaster Trials, that should be, may or may not be on my channel now. I honestly don't know. Oh, okay. Okay, let's jump into it. First scene. You have a scene of him walking towards a building, and it's just his house, and we figure out that the world's in quarantine, which everyone already knows. Everyone knows that the world's in quarantine. So this is like, that is one thing I do like about this fan film. It's very real world-like. So first scene, we find out about quarantine. I don't really want to think about it. Then the title card hits. And for some reason, Age of Ultron music plays. I felt like that was a very interesting editing choice. So 2 weeks go by, and they kind of get masks, and they go to a place, like, to get food. And there's this guy, Electro, who doesn't wear a mask. And I feel like this is a very weird way to introduce the villain, but it works. Yeah, so we figure out that, and Spider-Man's there, full costume for some reason. And then this other dude comes up, Electro, and thinks he's Daredevil. Then records them fighting about wearing a mask, which is very real world-like. Then he walks away. And it's an interesting scene. Then there's a scene with Spider-Man graffiti. Like, it's pretty cool. And then we have May and Peter talking. And I do like their talk scenes. I do like May in this a lot. And this is, I kind of missed the part earlier. But May is talking to everyone, and yeah, they kind of just talk about everything and stuff. Kind of just saying, yeah. Here comes Electro, and Electro gets his powers by leaving his phone and gets water on it, then picks it up and gets electrocuted, falls into a bathtub, and then that's the last we see of him. It's an interesting design choice. It's not a bad design choice. It's a choice. And I'm not saying they made the wrong choice. I'm just saying it was a choice that they made. Yeah. But it's a cool way to get powers and stuff. I just think it's a bit odd. So then Peter takes off his mask randomly. And I think his name is Jacob, walks in the room. I think that's what his name is. And he walks in and finds out Peter's Spider-Man. Because, again, this film has a lot of, like, normal, like, Marvel, like, things, like, the May finding out how Peter is and stuff. And then they start talking. And I do like it. I think he's a very good fanboy. I do like how much of a fanboy he is. I think it's definitely exaggerated a lot how much of a fanboy he is. However, I think it makes sense for his character. He is that type of person, and we've seen that from the character. So I think it works very well. And I do like that's how he is characterized, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, ugh, this character sucks. Yeah, I can definitely see why a lot of people don't like him. However, I think he's characterized very well. And then they kind of talk and stuff, and I do see the relationship, and they kind of just get, and they kind of have a talk scene, and we get a lot of Peter's backstory. He gets emotional, and then that's it. And then we re-meet Electro, and Electro gets his powers. And I do like it. And I do think Spider-Man in his jacket does look good. Oh, man, it does look good. So then they're just talking on bunk beds, and they find out about Electro. So they go and fight him in this abandoned place. And it's a good fight. Oh, man, it's a very fun fight scene. And then they go into this, like, hall area with all this graffiti. And then Electro disappears when the cops come. And I do like it. I think it's good how he disappears. And then we get this really nice rooftop scene with Peter. And I really like this scene. I think Peter on the rooftop looks really good. And I think we don't get to see much of, like, that type of stuff. Just, like, very bland, just, like, talking, like, things. We don't get to see that type of stuff anymore. Like, most films just don't have, like, good shots like that. Especially with Spider-Man. And I feel like a lot of them should. They really should have those types of things because it looks really cool. And that is definitely probably the best shot in the film. Actually, it is the best shot in the film. How could I say it maybe is the best shot in the film? It is the best shot because it looks so cool. So he's on this rooftop, and he's kind of just relaxing, takes off his suit for some reason, texting MJ and decides not to. I think it works. And then they have another scene, Jacob and Peter talk about Electro, and they get the beeping watch. And for some reason, Spider-Man's not wearing a sweatshirt. It's weird. So he figures out Electro, and he has this, like, recording. It's recording Peter, and I like it. And then they get in a fight in his house. And I do like it. I think it's a good scene. And then they have this really weird scene with, like, this decent effect of Electro in the air, and it looks really stupid. But it's not that bad. Like, it could definitely be worse. It really could be worse. Like, my film had worse at it. Maybe. But, yeah, it happens. They start talking. And there's this really good fight scene between the two of them. I do really like the fight scene. Also, something I want to point out. Electro, in the beginning of the film, he gets mad. The whole thing is that he becomes a villain because he didn't wear a mask. However, his suit has a mask. Yeah, that was the point. I just kind of wanted to make that clear. Like, the guy who was against wearing masks is now wearing one. And I think that's just weird. Like, design. Like if you want to make it Electro, I think it works. The suit looks really good. However, why make him look good if the whole thing is him not wearing masks, yet he's wearing a mask? Yeah, just really interesting design choice. Not a fan of it. It does look cool. But it's just a choice that I think could have been done differently, so it's not... I also don't think anyone else ever would have seen that. The only reason I noticed it on, like, my 5th rewatch is because it's, like, my 5th rewatch. But, yeah, it's just a weird, really weird design choice. I still love the film, though. It won the Fan Film Awards. Really good fight scene. He gets on the wall. I do like it. It's a lot of, like, film tropes, but I think it's good. And then he gets attacked in his own house. And then he wins, and I do like it. And I do like how we get more about the coronavirus. And I think the COVID part does help. And then Jacob, I do like in this. I think he's a side character who gets a lot. And I do like how much he gets. I think he gets a decent amount, but I think he gets a good amount. I don't think he gets, like, an obnoxious amount. And if you don't get what I mean, I just mean, like, he doesn't have an obnoxious amount of stuff. He has, like, a good amount of stuff. And I definitely enjoy the amount of screen time he gets. Okay, and that's the film. So, let's talk about it. Because there's a decent amount to be said. Definitely. Okay. I really like this film. I've always liked this film. It won the Fan Film Awards 2023. So it has to be good. And it is really good. I'm not going to lie about it. It's a really good fan film. Are there parts of it that are interesting? Yes. I'm not going to lie about it. There are parts that make weird choices. And is it perfect? No. I'm never going to say this film is perfect. But it's not a bad fan film either. And I think that kind of has to be explained. It's a very good fan film. No fan film has ever been perfect before, though. So, like, I think it works for what it's doing. And I think if it were to have a sequel, which it will, Negative Life, when that eventually, if ever, comes out, and I think when that happens, when that event comes out, I'm very excited to see how it takes place. Because I think this fan film is very good. However, I think there's a lot that isn't perfect. And I think for it to be perfect, there's things that must be changed. And that's kind of where I'm going to end this. I'm going to say there's things that can be done. However, I would say that there is definitely room for improvement in it. And yes, it won the Fan Film Awards, which clearly means it's a good fan film. And it is. However, I would say that it isn't a perfect fan film. And I'm never going to say it's a perfect fan film, because no fan films are perfect. They're fan films. However, this is definitely one of the best fan films out there. Let's just do the 6 points. Directing, I think this is still a very well-directed fan film. I think there's a lot of cool shots, especially like the rooftop scene and stuff. Editing, I'd say, is where it lacks, though. I'd say there's a lot of not great shots in this film. But overall, I wouldn't say it's edited bad. I just wouldn't say it's perfect. The acting in this is very good. I really like a lot of the characters in this. And there isn't a specific character that I'd say, oh, this character isn't acting well. No, everyone's doing a very good job. The story in this is very good. I think this film is a very good story and a very enjoyable one. Choreography, I think the choreography in this is very good. I really do like it. And I think the music in this is of course stolen. Overall, I don't have too much to say about this fan film. I've said so much already. Like, they won the fan film award. There's literally not much to say. So, I know I've done a lot of these scene by scene reviews that are like 20 minutes and stuff. I don't have too much to say about this one. So, it's on the shorter end. It's also on the shorter end of the fan films I reviewed. But overall, I do really enjoy this fan film. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already seen the official trailer for my own fan film, Captain America: The Taskmaster Trials, it's on my channel now. And besides that, thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.